long distance relationships. Whether you're a fan of them, whether you're a hater of them, whether you don't care, it is a thing, especially in this generation. I don't know if you have seen on Twitter actually. Yeah, on Twitter, the whole trend of how it started versus how it's going or how it's ending. You know, people, a lot of those screenshots are, you know, DMs or text messages from people sliding in each other's DMs, and the relationships are flourishing after that, whether it's from across town, across state, or across the country. Social media is making us fall in love with people that we meet online, and long distance relationships, I think, it's a dope thing if you can make it work. I've been in a couple long distance relationships myself, and that's a whole different video, whole different story. But it's actually one of the reasons why I wrote the book, No Such Thing as Halfway. And I'm excited for this series, man. It's gonna be a 3-part series. My first guests are Alex and Emeka, dope friends of mine. I really appreciate them coming through and blessing me with this. We had a great time, great session. Stick around for the video. If you have not checked out the book, No Such Thing as Halfway, the couple, the character in this book, not only are they fighting for their love across a long distance, but against tribalism that's trying to tear them apart. And the distance is a real factor in this book. And I just felt I'd do a video like this or series like this to supplement the book and just discuss this thing, man. Like I said, I have experience in it. If you are checking this channel out for the first time, my name is RifleX. I am a writer, podcaster, entrepreneur, and this channel was just created to bring you into my world, share with y'all what I got going on. So hit that subscribe button, please, and stick around. I can't wait for y'all to see this session with Alex and Emeka, and partner with me on Patreon. I appreciate all 6 of my Patreons. Listen, y'all are real ones. I appreciate y'all for kicking it, sticking with your boy. And next month or next week, I want to say I appreciate all 10 of my Patreons. Won't you do it? God, I'm believing it. But shout out to my 6 Patreons so far. Appreciate you. If you want to partner with me, hit the link in the description. Subscribe to this video, and after the intro, we're gonna talk to Alex and Emeka. Let's do it.
So our story started in summer of 2019. Once I saw him on the page of an artist, local artist that I listened to, and I was like, wow, this is a cool person. Follow him. Saw somehow that we went to the same small high school, and kind of like entered his DMs. Like, we went to the same high school, and we kind of like cordially talked for some time until like 5 months later in December we started dating.
So she's slid in your DMs.
Yeah.
Hey. So where did the long distance aspect come? Like, when did that come into play?
So, you know, I was in Charlotte, and then she was in New York in college. It was always long distance, you know. I don't even think we didn't even meet.
We did meet before we started dating.
Yeah. We didn't even meet before we started dating.
What were your expectations? Like, what expectations did you have going into a long distance relationship?
It was so different. At first we were like, maybe we shouldn't date because of the long distance. Like,
yeah.
You were like, I'm in Charlotte, and things like that. I don't know if I want to like do that. And then, you know, once we kept talking and stuff, kind of like, we just kind of got over it.
That's like Alex said, that was my disposition at first, you know. I was like, you know, if it's going to be a long distance relationship, I don't really want to do it. I also was like, if we are going to do something, because I didn't want to be long distance for a long time, it was like, okay, she's going to have to move to Charlotte at some point, you know, because it's like being in 2 different states thing is not.
Yeah, and I was thrown off by that at first.
Yeah.
Because I had just, like, I was in my last semester of undergraduate in New York, and I was so ready to come back to PG County and just live in the DMV like forever. Like, because I'm family oriented. Like, I never thought I would like leave. But then like I just started to be excited about moving at some point.
What questions did you ask yourself personally, like individually, and then as a couple before entering into the long distance?
For one, if I'm being completely blunt, like Alex is he's 21, you know, he's 22 in November, and at first, because she's my brother's age, she was born in 1998. Like, I equate 98 babies with like my brother, you know what I'm saying? So at first I wasn't even sure if I wanted to to date Alex. You know what I mean? So I had to ask myself, like, dang, do I even want to be in a relationship with someone who is, you know, that much younger than me, you know? And also, of course, having to ask myself the question, do I want to be in a long distance relationship? You know, because I don't know how long it's going to be, and I'm a little older, and I just wasn't trying to do that, you know?
I guess I was wondering, like, how we gonna do this? Like, I remember, like, knowing that he lived in Charlotte and being like, I don't care though, like, I'm still going, like, we can still talk. You know what I mean? But I just never imagined me actually moving. I just kind of, like, ignored that part. Like, I was just like, I'm just not focused on that, like, till later.
Yeah.
But then it kind of, like, obviously quickly, like, came to the forefront, and there's something we had to work through.
So is it safe to say you guys were optimistic about the distance or not?
Yes.
Yeah, after we started dating, it wasn't really like a problem, especially because the pandemic hit so soon after we dated. That like we literally were long distance. It wasn't too long, even though we expected it to be like a few years for real.
Yeah.
How often did you guys visit each other?
I came up to New York for Valentine's weekend. It wasn't often though.
That was like the only time, and then like COVID happened.
Yeah,
and then
COVID.
like we were in the same state the whole time because he just came to Maryland. He was teaching virtually.
Yeah.
And it was just like chill, even though we didn't plan that either.
But then before that, you know, we were on winter break. So for the month of December and a little bit of January, I was home in Maryland for some time. And that's when we really got to bond, you know.
Yeah.
We had already bonded, I guess you can say, through like the phone and stuff like that. But then we really got to be in person with each other, you know, during that winter break.
Was there an end point in sight? Like, were you guys like, okay, you know, we're not just dating to date, or was there an end point in sight, especially with the distances where it's like, all right, at some point, you know, I know you kind of alluded to it earlier, but what was the like end point?
Yeah, like initially we kind of loosely were talking about, like 2022 we want to get married, but then like as reality was setting in, we were like, okay, 2021, and then we were like, we could do it this year for real. But that didn't even happen until like way later. But yeah, we had a end goal, but it just kind of kept moving up just because of like the practical nature of like being around each other and other like factors that we wanted to just go ahead and get married.
Would y'all advise people to, you know, go into long distance, not having spent time in proximity with each other, or just like, you know, if that's what, you know, the opportunity is, then go for it? Or would you say, nah, spend some time in the same city first?
I would say the latter, you know, because I don't think it's one size fits all. You know, it's like it depends
on the situation.
Yeah, the situation.
We just kind of knew. Yeah. I would usually before this I would tell people like, nah, you need to like it's different to be around somebody, you know. But then like when we started talking, it was like, oh, we just kind of like connect, you know. What? So irritating.
Was there scheduled visits? I know you say it just happened. Were you guys like, all right, we're gonna see once a month, or every 2 months, or we're just like, hey, whatever happens, happens?
I think it was whatever happens. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah,
you know,
we had to see each other.
Yeah, it was whatever happens. Like, but whenever there was an opportunity, like for Valentine's Day weekend, for instance, when I went up to New York, it's like, okay, it's only right, you know, because by that point we had been dating for like 2 months. Yeah, so like, okay, let me go see her for Valentine's Day weekend. You know? Would
you advise people, you know, make that schedule, or just be like, hey, you know, whatever happens, happens?
I would definitely advise people to make that schedule for the long distance. Yeah.
Why would you say so, Alex?
Just because you want it to be clear to your significant other that you'll make the effort, and that you have, even if you don't have the end goal of marriage and living in the same city yet, that you have an end goal of when, you know, the wait for the next time to see your partner will be, you know. So you can be like, if it's January, it's like, at least I'll see him in February. You know what I mean? So you just have to stick it out for a known amount of time, you know.
Describe your communication patterns.
We're just talking like all the time. We talk all the time.
Yeah, we on the phone. You know, I'd be at work. Like before, on my way to work, I would call her. During my breaks at work, I would call her. After work, I would call her. You know, so just a lot of phone conversations. We did not meet before we started dating. You know what I mean? So. I think over the phone, the conversations, we got to know a lot about each other. I think that was kind of good in a sense because we weren't, like, we really had to get to know each other because we weren't, like, close to each other. You know what I mean? You know, I would say that's, like, a basic pattern of, like, communication for her.
And did y'all, keep the Instagram DMs going, or just to keep the love fresh?
We just send each other like jokes and
yeah.
We do be texting for them.
Yeah.
How do you make the other person feel loved, being in the distance and not being able to like hug or touch or see each other, look eye to eye?
At least one thing I noticed was kind of like sacrificing your time to be with them. Like that's a general principle for relationships in general, obviously, but when you're long distance, it's like when you come home from work, when you come home from whatever you're doing during the day, it's not even like you don't have the promise of being able to see your significant other in person, but to be like, after that long day at work, I'm literally just gonna go in my room and just be on the phone with you. You know what I mean? I'm not even gonna have that interaction with other people. I'm not saying that that's all you should do, but I feel like it means a lot to be like, after this long day, the first thing I want to do is talk to you. You know what I mean? Not that you have to talk every day, but I think it means a lot, like that sacrifice.
Yeah. I agree. I second that.
Now you guys about to get married, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh. How you feel, first of all, Emeka?
Nah, man, I don't even know. It's so close now, so I don't even know, Flex.
The man is speechless. Would you say the distance helped your relationship, or did it make it harder?
What would you say? I think it helped. I think it helped because I feel like a lot of times in relationships we get sometimes being in each other's presence, it doesn't allow you to really get to know them apart from being romantic. You get what I'm saying? I feel like being apart from each other really forced us, that's for lack of better words, to really just get to know each other, from a mental, who is this person, like personality, what are their likes, what are their dislikes, I think in that way it helped, and I feel like because of that, by the time we finally got to meet each other, it felt like, we already knew each other for some time.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Mm.
What are like 3 musts for a long distance relationship to work, would you say?
I think frequent communication. People date different. Some people say like, oh, you don't have to talk to your boyfriend or girlfriend every day, but I think that that's just healthy if you wanted to move forward. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much to like just talk.
I think scheduled visits. Yeah, man, that goes a long way, Scheduled visits.
Number 3, the
say?
secret sauce.
I would say trust. You know what I mean? Because you're not in each other's presence, so you have to kind of like really trust that person's character and integrity to be like for you. You know what I mean?
I think it's people can. This is like a given, but what would you say are 2 things? 2 things that will kill a long distance relationship.
Yeah, I think lack of communication. Like if you're not talking, you're not hitting her up, she's gonna be left wondering. I mean, it's already tough because you guys are not close to each other. So you're gonna be like, what's going on? She might think you might be occupied with someone else in the state that you're in. So that's definitely one. What would you say is the second one?
Kind of like being too friendly with the opposite sex. Like if you have like mad close friends of the opposite sex, like I feel like your significant other could be like, bro, like why you always with a girl, or why you always with a dude? You know what I mean? Like you kind of want to have that like security to know that, okay, this person kind of like solid in that area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What has long distance taught you about each other? Emeka, first you, and what has long distance taught you about Alex? Alex, what has long distance taught you about Emeka that you feel you wouldn't have known otherwise if y'all were in proximity this whole time?
That's a good question.
Long distance. There are many sides to Alex that I did not see. Just I had to be in person. I had to be with her to see. For one, like her goofiness. And she's a very earthly person. Very like nature-y, like that's what I saw like in person that I didn't see, being long distance.
I feel like the distance showed me Emeka's commitment, because just like how committed he was to like calling me after work, and it's just at different times where maybe if we were in person, I don't know if we would have physically hung out so much early in a relationship, but like calling somebody frequently is something that can be done easily but still take commitment, if that makes sense. And then I think I saw some of his like shyness like on the phone. And then I feel like you kind of like were shy a little bit.
I love it. Listen, we have come to a part of this here where Alex and Emeka talking long distance relationship. We play a game. And this is gonna test how well. It's like, you know, the game you play in the wedding. When you put up the, you know, y'all ready?
Oh my god.
This is a test. This is a little foretaste of, you know.
Oh my god.
4 weeks. What was 2 weeks?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
You're going to be husband and wife.
I know.
That is tough.
It's tough.
And then you are together forever.
Yeah.
Same house, same city.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Don't get tired of each other. Who is the better driver? Since we talk a long distance relationship, you know, you gotta drive to go see your significant other. Who is the better driver? You drive everywhere because, you know, you're a gentleman. Who said I love you first?
Okay,
I love our boy. We talking long distance relationship, you know, penmanship. Who has the better handwriting?
Oh shit.
We talking long distance relationship. Alex, first you, and then Emeka. What does Emeka prefer? Aisle seat or aisle on the plane, middle, or or window seat?
I think window, so he could sleep.
Yeah, window.
What does she prefer?
I think middle for you, right?
No.
Oh, window?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who misses who the most?
I feel like that's a tie. Like, I don't know.
Who says it the most?
I think she does say. I think she says it the most.
Who would be the most hungover after the wedding?
Her.
Probably me. I don't be drinking like that, but it's gonna go be me.
What are you most likely to argue or disagree about as a couple?
Probably something with the Democratic Party or the Republican Party.
Yeah. It's true.
Emeka, what is Alex's worst habit? Emeka, what is Alex's worst habit?
Waiting to wash the dishes.
Oh yes, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, waiting to wash the dishes.
Yeah. I think his worst habit is like trying to like multitask while he's texting, like, and talking with you. So you ask him a question and he thinks he's answering, but he just says and he'll do that for like 3 minutes.
It's bad for a long time.
That's horrible.
What is your partner's shoe size? Last question.
14. 15, 14.
15, 14, depending on what shoe. 7 in women's, right? Yeah.
Man, y'all dope. Congratulations, y'all, on a successful long distance relationship culminating in marriage. Emeka and Alex, appreciate y'all being my first guest on this here series talking about long distance relationship. Man, it's not easy. Any advice for long distance seekers out there, long distance endurers right now, or long distance haters? Any advice? Any, you know, last word?
Have a goal.
Yeah.
You know, have a goal, you know, so that you know where this is going. You know what I mean? Don't just,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I love it. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you, RifleX.
Yeah. Love is a beautiful thing, man. Don't get it twisted. Love is beautiful. Listen, I'm excited for my next guests in this series on long distance relationships. But first, I want to thank Emeka and Alex. Man, I wish y'all nothing but the best in y'all marriage. It's coming up too. Hey, proximity. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all gonna be in the same town, same bedroom. Okay, yeah, we gonna, you know, PG. But listen, if you wanna see the next episode early, partner with me on Patreon. My patrons get to see every video that drops on this here YouTube channel at most a month in advance. A month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance. So y'all see it, you get first dips and everything I drop. So hit the link in the description, partner with me on Patreon. Hit the subscribe button and the ringer so you get updates every time I drop something new on this here channel. I'm Flex. I appreciate y'all watching this. Let me know what you want to see in the next episode of this series. What kind of questions should I ask? What kind of people should I bring on? I'm trying to expand this thing, diversify it, you feel me? I'm Flex. I'm gonna see you on the next video. Appreciate you watching. We out.